war between US, Israel and Iran. But it's the post that was put out by the Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif which has generated a lot of traction, and he's being trolled for that. Now, the Pakistani Prime Minister was quick to announce on social media that dialogue and diplomacy is the only way, that ceasefire has been announced between US, Israel and Iran. But in doing so, it looked like he did a copy-paste job. Now, the header of that post said, "Draft Pakistan Prime Minister's message on X." And it's that particular header, that particular first version of the post that has created a lot of controversy. Later, of course, the entire post was edited, and then the content, of course, remained the same, but the draft portion has led to a massive trolling of the Pakistani Prime Minister on social media. We have my colleague Akanksha here on the broadcast with us, and she'll take us through the tweets and what the controversy really is all about, Akanksha.
Absolutely. Let me take you through what has happened, actually. This is a tweet that was, in fact, posted by Shehbaz Sharif, Prime Minister of Pakistan, just few hours before the deadline was to expire, in which he mentioned that he's very pleased to announce that Islamic Republic of Iran and United States, along with their allies, have agreed to immediate ceasefire everywhere. But what people notice is a draft, tab there, and as you can see on the screen right here, it mentions draft Pakistan's Prime Minister message on X. So now many of the people there on social media are saying whether this was given to him, handed it over to Pakistan's Prime Minister to put this out on social media, or is it something that he wrote himself? So he's being trolled really badly on social media, Swati, because initially the tweet was draft Pakistan's Prime Minister message on X, but just 1 minute later they removed that part and then put this out. Huge embarrassment for Pakistan.
Absolutely. Akanksha, thank you for taking us through that tweet. So the strategy here of Pakistan was to project itself as the master mediator, but while doing so and doing a copy-paste job out of it, he's led to massive trolling of the Pakistani Prime Minister, with many saying that it is a script that was handed out to the Pakistani Prime Minister by Donald Trump, by the American authorities. The Pakistani Prime Minister was told what to do. Now, this has led to, like I said, a trolling, entire post taken down, and then it was edited and once again put out by the Prime Minister of Pakistan. And that particular line, the header that you see in that tweet, draft Pakistan Prime Minister's message on X, looks like he was being asked to put that message on social media. Let's take a look at what the netizens have to say. The netizens, of course, caught that first line in the post which said draft Pakistan's Prime Minister on X, and then the rest of the content remained the same. This is what the social media user said. Busted. This was likely written by someone in United States or White House. So this was a script, according to netizens, handed over to the Pakistani Prime Minister, and he forgot to edit this line. He forgot to remove it. So people are saying it's a shoddy job even at copy-paste. Shoddy job done by Pakistan when it comes to even copy-pasting. Let's take a look at the other comments that have come on social media, highlighting how the Pakistani Prime Minister forwarded the message as received. That's another jibe that many are taking at Shehbaz Sharif, forwarded as received. Oh, this is unbelievable. Obviously, Sharif's own staff don't call him Pakistan's Prime Minister. They would just call him Prime Minister. So people are saying if in case the internal communication department perhaps forwarded his message, they would have said for Shehbaz Sharif. They wouldn't have said Pakistan's Prime Minister's message on X. Another user says Trump just threatened to wipe out one whole civilization. Pak PM couldn't even get one tweet right. So massive trolling at the moment of the Pakistani Prime Minister for forwarding the message as received by United States of America. There's another user who says Pak PM accidentally posts tweet along with what looks like a White House instruction as a header. So like I said, Pakistan trying to project itself as the master mediator, but netizens who saw this, that first line on the post, which was later of course edited, are saying this is nothing but a script that was handed by White House to the Pakistani Prime Minister, and this is nothing but instructions coming in from America, forwarded as they were received. Now let's take a look at how first our foreign minister, of course, when asked about Pakistan's role when it comes to negotiating and mediating, rejected that, and then that was backed by Kiran Rijiju as well. This is what he said during Times Now summit on Pakistan's role as a mediator.
So you think Pakistan is doing dalali by doing mediation?
Well, if I say beyond that, it may not sound nice, because I had summarized the meeting briefly at the end of the meeting. But what transpired in the meeting may not be wise for me to tell you which minister and which member said what.
So let me ask you, when the opposition makes a charge that Pakistan, a much smaller country, is taking a central position in resolving the West Asia crisis, has India been caught out by not being able to engage both sides, and therefore it has become a bystander? How do you respond to that charge by the opposition?
See, I will make a very specific reference so that the query is addressed. If our ships are passing through Strait of Hormuz, some ships have already passed through and rest are likely to be very soon. If it has happened, how did it happen? If India has not maintained a good relationship with Iran or the other Gulf countries, how did all these ships pass through? That shows the position of India. India is one of the few countries who could speak to all parties. Our Prime Minister had got a call from US President. Our Prime Minister spoke to Israeli Prime Minister. Our Prime Minister spoke to Iranian President. Our Prime Minister spoke to all the head of the government of the Gulf countries repeatedly. Not one round, second round, beyond. There are very few leaders in the world who could do that. That is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So, as I said, if I say beyond all those things, it will amount to a policy statement which I don't want to make because the situation is quite critical and very dynamic. So I will not comment on the policy matter, but I can say that despite this crisis, India is able to make itself ready for any situation because of a visionary, decisive leadership we have. And if you see in past 11 and a half years, 6 years is almost in conflict. So never before any government in India had faced this kind of critical situation what we are facing. So the COVID, the Russia-Ukraine crisis, the crisis in West Asia, Israel, Gaza, and then this West Asia, Iran, Israel, US. So the situation which we are witnessing one after another is very challenging. Despite that, how a large country like India, which is so dependent for its energy resources from elsewhere, could handle the situation so well. And
there's also a political face-off brewing in India over the issue of Pakistan playing the role of a mediator. But the biggest voice of Iran in India, Abdul Majid Hakim Elahi, says India has to play a bigger role when it comes to peace in the region. He spoke about Prime Minister Narendra Modi was constantly in touch with the President of Iran, and also, of course, the communication that took place between the foreign ministers. He was in an exclusive conversation with our managing editor, Zaka Jacob. Let's take a look at that sequence.
Do you have any comments about the role of India behind the scenes? The foreign minister, I think, spoke to your foreign minister as many as 5 times since this war began. Prime Minister Modi spoke to your president, Mr. Pezeshkian, in the initial days of this war. What do you have to say about India's role behind the scenes in trying to help find some kind of a solution or a temporary halt to this war?
Yes, I'm thankful to them. They had a very good and successful conversation with our president. I mean, the Prime Minister has very good and successful conversation with our president, as well as the Minister of Foreign Affairs of India also has several times. He has spoke with our Minister of Foreign Affairs, and it was a very good conversation. And I would like to say that please they have to continue this conversation, and they have to play a big role to keep the peace in the region, and they can do.
Then journalist Kanchan Gupta took a jibe at the Pakistani Prime Minister, saying that the Foreign Minister of India, Mr. S. Jaishankar, was right when he described Pakistan as a Dalal state. And then he went on to say that no half-decent Prime Minister anywhere in the world would actually put out a draft that clearly came from someplace else. All right, let's move on now. Let's shift our focus to the other political face of the war brewing between the Election Commission and the TMC just ahead of West Bengal elections. There came a warning from the Election Commission, a post that was put out by the Election Commission, a no-nonsense warning to the Trinamool Congress right ahead of the elections, where the Election Commission said that the election should be free of fear, free of violence, intimidation and inducement. Now, the Election Commission also warned against illegal practices, including booth capturing, booth jamming and source jamming, which refers to disruptions in voter mobilization or access. And it was that comment by the Election Commission of India, a straight warning coming in from the ECI, that has led to a massive political face-off, with the opposition parties now asking, will the ECI also issue such a warning or do a straight talk with the Bharatiya Janata Party? So the Election Commission straight talk to Trinamool Congress. The Election Authority wrote on X this time the election in West Bengal would surely be free of fear, violence, intimidation and inducement. Let me go across to Pragya, my colleague, who's getting us more details on that. Pragya, that post by the Election Commission has led to a massive political face-off, with the opposition hitting out at the Election Commissioner, the CEC, saying that this goes on to show the biased approach of the Election Commission, also challenging the ECI if it would put out a post of a similar nature against the Bharatiya Janata Party as well.
Well, Swati, first thing first, what did Election Commission say? Election Commission says that any election in West Bengal should be about free of fear, inducement, incitement, and also there should be no source jamming or booth jamming, and there will be no inducement and violence. This is a mandate of Election Commission to ensure free and fair election, and this is exactly what the Election Commission has spoken about in this particular post. It does not mean that they are targeting a particular political party, but we had seen violence in an election in West Bengal, Swati, in the past as well. We had seen many complaints coming to Election Commission as well, as far as this particular elections are concerned, as far as TMC is also concerned. This is also a concern that has been flagged by many of the on-ground workers of Election Commission, and in fact, we had seen, the kind of tussle that we had seen between Election Commission and TMC as far as SIR is concerned. The main problem, Swati, here is the politics over SIR. The TMC believes that many of its voters are being cut out and left out in the final draft list of voters of the West Bengal, and this is exactly what has prompted this particular aggression from TMC. And according to the sources in Election Commission, Mr. Derek O'Brien became very aggressive in nature while speaking to the Chief Election Commissioner, Mr. Ganesh Kumar, and he had to intervene and says, Mr. Ganesh Kumar, in fact, had to intervene and tell Mr. Derek O'Brien that this is no way to conduct himself, and also this is also a room of Election Commission, so he just can't shout at it. He needs to have a decorum. While several versions are also coming from TMC, the fact is a simple post has been put out by Election Commission about how a fear-free election should be conducted in West Bengal, and that does not mean that this is a stand of Election Commission that shows any sort of bias. In fact, what TMC could have said is that this is how election has been conducted in West Bengal.
The opposition, Pragya, is pointing out how in that post the Election Commission is talking about only a particular party. So fresh face-off now brewing between the Election Commission, the TMC, and of course the entire INDI bloc is involved. The INDI bloc is hitting out at the Election Commission, saying that this is a biased and a partisan behavior by the Election Commission. Let me in fact go across to my colleague Hina for more on the reactions coming in on social media. Hina.
That's right. We would like to quickly show you, Swati, what Election Commission of India has put out, and trust me, this is another talking point after what Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif did, earlier in the morning. And why am I saying it? Because just look what has been written. चुनाव आयोग की तृणमूल कांग्रेस को 2 टूक। पश्चिम बंगाल में इस बार चुनाव भय रहित, विदाउट फियर, हिंसा रहित, धमकी रहित, प्रलोभन रहित, छापा रहित, बूथ एवं सोर्स जैमिंग रहित होकर ही रहेंगे। I mean, you don't expect EC to make these kind of statements. So this is exactly what political parties also are talking about, and this clearly is going viral because they never expected EC to be this direct, and this too coming in after what we heard from Derek O'Brien earlier today, what really happened in that 7-odd minute long meeting that happened between TMC delegation and the members of the Election Commission of India. So this is what ECI has put out, and this also has become a big political issue.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Ina, for getting us the details. So the opposition, the INDI bloc, hitting out at the Election Commission of India, asking how can the Election Commission of India talk about a political party, only mentioning a political party in the post, and also challenging if the Election Commission of India will do a straight talk with the Bharatiya Janata Party. Let's move on now. Let's talk about the reactions that are coming in from the INDI bloc. Remember, a 4-member delegation went to meet the Chief Election Commissioner, and they are alleging they were asked to get lost. That's what the CEC said to them, as per the TMC netas. Now, Derek O'Brien, along with Sagarika Ghosh, Saket Gokhale and Menuka Guruswamy were part of that delegation who wanted to raise concerns over the deletion of names, deletion of around 27 lakh under adjudication voters from the electoral rolls. Let me go across to Ridhita, who's getting us more details on that. Ridhita, this 4-member delegation had a meeting with the CEC, but after the meeting, the controversy started when the delegation claimed that they were asked to get lost.
Absolutely, you see that yesterday West Bengal have noticed a lack of names that has been dozed off from the list, and today the 4-member delegation had gone ahead to speak on this matter with the ECI and meet Ganesh Kumar on this respect. However, when they reached inside, they were trying to put in their point when TMC claims that they were asked that there was no authorized signatory. That was the first claim that was raised by Ganesh Kumar, after which they were also asked to get lost. That has been mentioned over Saket Gokhale and Sagarika Ghosh, both of their social media posts, and they say that this is not the way that should have been behaved. Whereas we have seen that earlier also Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and the Trinamool Congress's chairperson making the same stage note that EC is behaving and doing all of their activities on the blueprints of BJP, and they only want the decorum on the disguise of the state to happen according to what the BJP is prompting them. Earlier, when Malda incident had also happened, the transfer of officers both in the administrational and the police level was questioned by Mamata Banerjee, stating that so many transfers have happened in the state, and this is only noticed in West Bengal only because the BJP is wanting it. The Malda fury is also blamed upon ECI, and Ganesh Kumar should be completely responsible on this entire matter, because we feel that so many transfers of the police men who has happened has been happened on their notice, and they are not aware of the geography and demography of West Bengal. Hence, TMC is not going to take up any blame, but the complete blame is tossed upon the ECI, Ganesh Kumar.
Now, this is snowballing into a massive controversy just ahead of West Bengal elections, where this delegation of the TMC says they were asked to get lost, and they're also pointing out the post put out by the Election Commission of India, in which the ECI has issued a no-nonsense warning talking about the Trinamool Congress, with the INDI bloc asking how can the ECI talk about only a particular political party in that post. Will they also do a straight talk with the BJP? With that, we're slipping into a very short break. A lot more lined up on the other side.